I was really like heartbroken. I kind of cried and I was like, dude, I spent so much, like I put my heart and my soul into it, and then it didn't work out. And you know, when you come from a non-filmy background, your first film becomes your audition to the world. So for 1 year, I didn't have any work. No work was coming to me. And I remember I used to go for auditions, nothing used to work out. And finally...
Were there bad comments? Like, were you rejected and told anything? Because usually that happens.
Yeah, it just, things didn't work out. And then I got a call saying that I was selected. And it was an ad with Ranveer Kapoor. Okay? And that ad, I got my Mohenjo Daro from that ad. I got my South films from that ad.
When you're working on a film, and I had read these reports, your clarification came much later. I think you didn't even want to speak about it. It's absolutely fine. When you were doing this movie, they said that, you know, there's some problem with Prabhas, then there was some problem with Samantha, and I just feel that usually these stories get highlighted also more, and everybody starts like...
I think negativity sometimes unfortunately sells.
Yeah.
You know, so it may not be the truth, but people like to talk about it.
I remember actually meeting her in 2016. She had mixed emotions. She was nervous and she was excited. And today I'm meeting her after 6 years, although we've met a lot of times in between.
Yeah.
But interview nahi kiya na, aise video interview. This is our first video interview.
Yeah.
Welcoming Pooja Hegde in conversation with me only on Bollywood Bubble. Your film Radhe Shyam has released.
Yeah.
And while I was on the way, I saw it has crossed like 48 crores on day one.
Wow, I've been busy with this, so I haven't seen that.
It has crossed 48 crores. What is your reaction to this first?
You are getting a live reaction of what I'm feeling, because I haven't opened my phone today. Wow, really? That's amazing. That's really good. I hope the producers make more money. But good. I think, you know, when you're an actor, of course, you want your producers to make money, but I'm also happy that people are liking me in the film. So I'm like relieved about that.
You know, Pooja, I want to ask you this, that you have balanced between industries.
Yeah.
And today is a time when I've said this to so many people, but whenever I would meet somebody doing that, I will still reiterate, because this has to be spoken. There was a point of time, even 5 years ago, when you had Mohenjo Daro, if you went to Wikipedia, it would say that a South Indian actor, a Hindi film, Bollywood actor. Aaj agar aap Wikipedia pe jaoge, to it says Indian film actor predominantly working in Hindi films or Telugu films or Tamil films. There is a shift in perception and in respect.
Yeah.
Do you see that shift?
Of course. I feel like Bahubali changed a lot of things for that. I mean, personally, I always respected it because growing up, I saw some amazing films like Nayagan, which had Kamal Hassan sir in it. You know, there were a lot of films that I saw growing up that I was like, wow, what is this, you know?
Yeah.
But I think the shift happened after Bahubali more in terms of how the media saw South Indian films, because DJ did really well in the North, just the Hindi dubbed. So already I think there was like, you know,
there was an euphoria.
There was a
euphoria,
but yes, of course, in terms of respect and all, it has changed for sure of how people here are looking at South Indian films. For me, personally speaking, to be very honest with you, I've always felt that. Like, I've never wanted to be just a Hindi actress or just a Telugu or... I've always wanted to be an Indian actor, right? So when Mohenjo Daro, for whatever reason, didn't end up doing as well as we thought it would, I was getting Hindi film offers, but it was not something that I was excited about, you know. Without taking names of any films, I didn't want to do those. So South was giving me such amazing offers, and I kind of I feel like work attracts work, you know. So I did it, and I'm so glad I worked there, because I kind of just, it's very rare for an audience to love you, accept you, and think that you are their own. Yeah.
Especially when you don't belong there and you get that acceptance, it makes it more special.
Yeah. And of course, like, I don't take it for granted. I dub my own Telugu films.
I know that.
I make it a point to do that. Why are you
Do
laughing?
you feel,
though?
no, but I'm saying I know that it's a good thing, because do you feel that somehow when people don't do it, the emotions are a little lost?
Of course, 100%. So that's why I started doing
Yeah.
it, because I used to look at my own films and feel a disconnect with myself, okay? And also I'm like, but that's not how I did it on set,
Yeah.
you know? I did it very differently, but the dubbing artist would probably change or add a little bit of her in it. And I really feel like if you're gonna go there, you should have that much respect for the work
True.
that you're doing
True.
in and the
Absolutely.
language that you're shooting in. So I wanted to learn the language, and dubbing also helped my performance.
Absolutely. It always elevates it.
No, in terms of like for my next film, I'll tell you why. Because I
You
learned,
understood the language a little bit.
yeah, and I understood where I should pause, where I should roll my words, where I shouldn't roll my words, you know? So when I dubbed the film, I'm like, oh, why did I pause here? That means this is wrong. The way I've said it, because I have translated it in Hindi, I've written the meaning, and I've acted out how I would act a Hindi line, right? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, this is wrong. I should do it like this. So it helped my performance also.
Mohenjo Daro for any newcomer would be a really big film,
Yeah.
you know, and most of the reviews actually praised you in
Correct.
the movie. It didn't work
Yeah.
as expected in terms of numbers, also because it had a certain expectation from box office, because it had a superstar like Hrithik Roshan.
Yeah.
But like I told you, my friend we make fun of him, right? And whenever he just starts annoying us, he's like, "Too," hey, I break into that mode, and he starts
a beautiful
laughing.
song, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So at that point, it can be earth-shattering for a person who's
Yeah.
starting off, and then it's on paper, it's a great film, it's going to work. Like box office wise, it is supposed to work.
course, yeah.
And then, how did you react to that? Did you take time to get over it?
See, on paper, like you said, it was Ashutosh Gowarikar with Hrithik Roshan
After
coming
Jodha.
together after Jodha Akbar.
Exactly.
UTV was
Yeah.
producing the film.
True.
It was such a big debut. Like
Yeah.
it was like wow. And obviously, when it didn't work, I spent 2 years of my life on that film. You know, when I was contractually bound to not do anything else.
Yeah.
And I got so many offers. Once this interview gets over, I'll tell you about the films that I got offered, and you're gonna be like, what? Like
Big films.
very big films, which I couldn't end up doing because of the contract, right? And I was hoping that when Mohenjo Daro releases, I'm gonna get good offers, right?
It's a big film.
Yeah, it's a big film. It didn't do as well as expected. It made 100 crores, by
Yeah.
the way. But it's just that people expected it to do
200, yeah.
much beyond that.
It was
And we had
that. It
spent
was
a
that.
lot. We had
It was
spent a
that.
lot. And reviews were like good about me, but most of them were like, I wish we could see more of her, you know? But so obviously I felt bad. I was really like heartbroken. I kind of cried and I was like, dude, I spent so much, like I put my heart and my soul into it, and then
True.
it didn't work out. And you know, when you come from a non-filmy background, your first film becomes your audition to the world.
Absolutely.
You know, people watch your film and they make an immediate judgment of whether you're good or you're not good. And I didn't have that scope for people to even make that comment. So my second film became very important in terms of Hindi. And at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And South was offering me such really like amazing films. So I decided to go that route, because what else could I have done?
But in
I could
Hindi, were
cry.
you not getting roles that you
Not
like
that-
the ones which you got while you were under contract? We are not.
No. So that's what I'm saying, right? Before Mohenjo Daro, when the hype was there, I was getting such amazing films, and as soon as the film released, it changed.
True.
You know? And it's not like,
It is
you know,
devastating.
yeah, and it's not like there's somebody who's gonna produce a film for me, or like, you know, people are offering me films left, right, and center saying, chalega, ye wala try karo, isme you can be better. That never happened to me, you know? So what was my option? Either I could cry about it and put myself in a shell and be upset about it, or work harder. And that's what I did. I just kept working, and somewhere it paid off. I said no for a lot of Hindi films that came after that because it didn't excite me as an actor. And then finally Houseful came, and I said, okay, let's do this, because it was half of Zarak share, people are going to go watch it,
Yeah.
and it was a good
Great franchise.
franchise, and it was the producer, like of course, and Nadyadwala, working with him, and I'm glad I did because it got me a Kabhi Diwali. So it kind of is a process,
True. But I want to know that, a lot of actresses especially who have spoken to, whether it's Tapsi, Rakul, Vidya ma'am, who have tried doing a few South films. Vidya ma'am, so 12 films shut down because the first film didn't take off. So there was a point where South mein, if the first film or the second film or 2-3 films didn't work, you would be called an iron leg and unlucky. Your first film down South,
Mugamudi.
That didn't work. But you consistently kept up with it and you were never tagged that. Was there a fear? Because by the time you debuted, all this was happening to other actresses.
I mean, honestly, I didn't really let it play on my mind. Mugamudi happened because, see, I had done Miss India, right?
Yeah.
And I got this offer. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I've never learned acting. I've never done. I had so many doubts about myself. And my mom was the one who was like, listen, Pooja, how will you know whether you want to, if you've not tried? So she's like, what's the worst that can happen? Is that you do it, you fail, and you never want to do it again. What's the worst? It's okay. We don't come from a filmy family. It's okay. What's the worst? We are not going to look down on you. Do it. And I did it, and it didn't do well. But if you know me as a kid, I've been a lost child, okay? As a kid, I never knew what I wanted to do in my life, ever, okay? And my brother just knew ki doctor banna hai. And
I just met him.
Oh, you met him. Yeah. And he was so clear ki doctor banna. I'm like, how do you know that you want to be a doctor? He's like, I don't know, I just know. And I went on set and I just felt at home, okay? Like, it's something I can't explain. But I went on set, I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I can express myself through this. So, even though the film didn't do well, I said, oh, now, that means I should pick and choose my films. This just happened by chance.
Yeah.
Right? So, now let me pick and choose. So, for 1 year, I didn't have any work. No work was coming to me. And I remember I used to go for auditions. Nothing used to work out. And finally...
Were there bad comments? Like, were you rejected and told anything? Because usually that happens.
Yeah, things didn't work out until I went for an audition for an ad. Okay? And it was a scooty ad. And you won't believe it, just before I was about to enter this audition, a crow shat on me.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I was like, this can't get worse, okay? I've had 1 year of no work whatsoever. I'm about to enter the audition and I have shit to deal with, okay? So, I'm just like, this better be lucky for me. You know how they say that
but
it's really lucky?
Yeah.
I'm like, this better be lucky. So I entered, I'm like already bloody upset about this, and I've entered the audition. And there were like very few girls selected to audition for this ad. And I auditioned, and they were taking like 2-3 takes for everyone else. I did mine, and the person said, 1 take, oh good, we got it. So I got out of the audition and I'm like, Mom, ye bhi nahi. My mom called me. She said, how is it? I said, ye bhi nahi milne wala hai. Mere ko ye ad nahi milne wala. And then I got a call saying that I was selected. And it was an ad with Ranveer Kapoor. Okay? And that ad, I got my Mohenjo Daro from that ad. I got my South films from that ad, the other South films that I had done. So that ad gave me so much. It's just like suddenly things just changed for me, you know. And I'm here, like.
But you know, when you look at your career, do you somehow feel that some of the films that you've done, most of the films down south, they are really good, and they have always been commercial blockbusters in their own right. Do you feel that for an actor, especially who has no industry pedigree and no godfather, it's very important to have that? Like, what you were not getting, like you said, that between Houseful and Mohenjo Daro, you delivered some of the biggest hits down south. And even between Houseful and now, you're delivering some of the biggest hits down south again. So, does it help you sustain?
Of course. I feel like God has been my godfather. Because there has to be some, of course, besides the hard work, there has to be some divine
True.
intervention for your work to be accepted. But I also feel it's a great validation that if you really put your heart and soul in something, it comes back to you in some way or the other.
True.
Because what was great was that, how like some people say don't be missing in Hindi for too long. A lot of people have these things. But I just continued to work, and it just so happened that my films transcended states, and people kind of watched it without it being a Hindi film. Like did some 100 million views, just the Hindi dubbed, on YouTube, the film. Ala Vaikuntapuramlo, Buttabomma, now Arabic Kuttu. It's been like, it's the work has transcended to different places, and that's something I'm so excited about.
I have to share this with you. DJ, CT Mar is from DJ, if I'm not wrong, right? So my niece, she's going to turn 10 this month end, okay? She's told me when the song came, and I didn't even know when the Salman Khan version came. I was home during lockdown. He's like me, it is Sallu versus Allu. I said, what are you saying? Are you don't know, this is another song. I have seen, I like it. I said, which song? Show? I knew. She's like, and she's seen a video on YouTube which says Sallu versus Allu, and she knows when the song dropped, the day it dropped, she knew, and she had watched that song pehle. So I feel that, you are right when you say Ala Vaikunta Puramalu is one of my most favorite South films. I've enjoyed. I'm a 90s child. I feel it has got all the ingredients. I was just talking to somebody today morning also about the same, because we were discussing the remake and stuff. Ala Vaikunta Puramalu, so I have a problem with subtitles. Like I have an eye issue. So I go like this. If it's dubbed, it's okay. But again, I feel that the essence is lost. So my sister 100%. Loves South movies. Yeah. She can watch it all day. You give it to her. She'll either watch Mirzapur.
What's your sister's name?
Mohar.
Mohar. Thank you, Mohar.
Yeah, she's the one who introduced me to that
power
movie.
To you.
And she's like, you have to watch it. I don't know. So it was a bet. I made her watch a film that she didn't want to watch and I wanted to watch. She's like, you have to watch this. I said, okay. And I loved it. I have to say, I loved it.
Thank you so much.
I want to know that when you pick, like Radhe Shyam is on paper, it's a grand film. Yeah. Sometimes these movies are not about critical reviews. It is way above that, because the stardom and the love is so huge and humongous for people like you, that anyway that those movies will get watched, and 48 crore is evidence of that. Sometimes there is that pressure, this film has to do as well as the other films.
Not really, in terms of like, so far I've had a good run, right? Yeah. But I don't let that get to me. I'll tell you why. Because as an actor, I just feel that I will also want to do films which make my soul happy. And if I start thinking of box office, I'm just gonna be scared ki what if I do this and it doesn't work.
True.
Like with Most Eligible Bachelor, for example, a film that I just did with Akhil. I was playing a stand-up comedian, and the girl had a very big role, right? And it made me nervous a little bit at some point, but the film, I went with my gut feeling that no, I would have so much fun shooting this, because I'll get to show a different side of me. True. And I went and I did it, and the film made 50 crores, which is great for the film that it was.
In that space, yeah.
And it kind of was a reiteration that no, Pooja, listen to your gut. It's taking you in the right direction.
True. True.
So
absolutely.
At the same time, I don't want to live my life in fear, that what if like I do this and the film doesn't do well, and that sort of a thing. With Radhe Shyam also, yes, it was Prabhas and all of that, but my role excited me, because sometimes you never know what's going to work.
And people are talking about it.
And people are talking about it, and I'm so happy that they're talking about it, because it's been 4 years of my life, Radhe Shyam, and doing a emotional scene, crying, doing that, and just to see people accept that, people are saying, oh, Pooja is great in the film and all that, besides the fact that yes, she's looking good or whatever, they're also talking about my performance, and that's exciting.
There was a point when women were often used to props, but today I think women have collectively taken a stand and stance where they're like, we will not do it. Woo! So they're not getting it. Because nobody's coming to them with such projects. I want to know, but when you talk about a different side, there is constant sexism and casual sexism in terms of reporting also, and reportage.
Right.
I feel women are often reduced to cat fights.
Right.
And this happened a lot with you also in the last 2 years especially. Does it ever irk you?
You know what? I try, like, obviously they try to pit people, against each other, but I've realized something, that I'm not fighting the same race as every other actress, right?
True.
Like, I have my own path. And it's very funny that people try to compare and try to do these things, but I'm running my own race. True. So how can we both be compared? You know what I mean? I hope like you said, the sexism reduces. Yeah. And I hope that a change comes sooner.
But do you notice that? Because, I'll tell you something. When you're working on a film, and I had read these reports, your clarification came much later. I think you didn't even want to speak about it. It's absolutely fine. When you were doing this movie, they said that, there's some problem with Prabhas, then there was some problem with Samantha. And I just feel that usually these stories get highlighted also more, and everybody starts, like, in our word, it's called rehashing. Ki kisi ne kiya to ab ye kar rahe, wo kar rahe, wo kar rahe. See, unfortunately, we are in a society where we are normalizing it eventually as journalists also. I can say this today because we are not doing it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been able to say this maybe if I was also doing the same.
Yeah.
But do you notice that? Does this ever bother you? Or how do you want to deal with this, this constant reportage like that?
I think negativity sometimes, unfortunately, sells.
Yeah.
So it may not be the truth, but people like to talk about it.
Yeah.
But what I can do is flood it with positivity, right? Which is why my social media will always be about, like, the good times in my life, because I feel like there's already
it's a happy social media.
For sure. And I feel like there's already enough negativity out there. I don't want to add to it. So, like, I try and let that go and then just focus on the positive.
Does it ever make it awkward for you the next day when you're going on set? Does it ever make it awkward? Like, I've spoken to another co-star of yours, I'll tell you after this. So there was a similar story like that, and she told me, she's a good friend, she said that, I knew and my co-star knew that there's no problem.
Yeah.
But that report, the next day when we were meeting, he was also awkward to talk to me, I was also awkward to talk to me. Yeah. So does that happen ever?
No, it's so far, like, it's not happening. It's been good. Yeah.
Today in the Hindi circuit, if you see, there are so many more films that you're doing,
Yeah.
And I think it's the best time of your career. And I keep telling you whenever we meet, when are you doing more films? When are you doing more films in Hindi?
Yeah.
Now I think, are you happy with the way it is? Because there's an Acharya, but there's also a Cirkus, there is a Kabhi, Kabhi Diwali, and there's a Vikram.
Yeah, with Mahesh Babu. Yeah, that's the Telugu film. Correct.
There's that film also. So there's so many actually balanced.
Yeah, I want to balance it for sure. In terms of Hindi, I still have a long way to go. I'm a baby over here. I still have a long way. I have lot of roles to play, a lot of directors I want to work with, a lot of filmmakers I want to work with, And that's something that I'm never going to be happy, because I'm always going to be that person who wants more. But I'm grateful for sure.
And there's Beast also, I forgot.
Beast, yes. Yeah. That's Tamil.
Yeah.
I want to maintain, like, doing films in different industries, in different regional cinemas, whether it's Hindi, so I'm doing 2 in Hindi, 1, 2, 3 in Telugu, and I'm doing 1 in Tamil, and I will be doing 1 more soon, which the announcement will come.
But thank you for this.
Thank you.
I will also take this opportunity to say that when you, there are so many movies which you have done where you have shared screen space with more than one hero and more than one heroine also.
Yeah.
And it's sad that sometimes people do get reduced to catfights, and you guys are way beyond that. The people you have worked with,
I've not had that issue.
I know, exactly. None of them have had issues with you also. Let's just put it that way. And it's just the time for you to shine. And I hope all your films do well. And you keep getting love from Pan India the way you have been.
Thank you so much. And during the Radhe Shyam promotions, you were the one who said, why are you doing group interviews?
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, why am I doing? I should do a couple of solos. So that's why this has happened. I made it happen because you were like, why?
All the other journalists who have done this interview today, they know who to thank. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, this is Pooja Hegde and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble. If you like what you see, please like, share and subscribe.